Hi guys, welcome back to Skinnybru Rugby. Before we move on to round 3, I just want to say thank you for all the support. The channel is new, but it is growing well. Thanks for the views. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, please do. So yeah, let's move on to the predictions of the week. So the first game is the Hurricanes versus the Brumbies. The Hurricanes are at full strength this week, but the Brumbies did play really well last week against the Chiefs. So you have to consider that. But I think the Hurricanes at full force, especially with Bowden Barrett being back, I think the Hurricanes will beat the Brumbies by 7 this week. Then it's the Rebels versus the Highlanders. The Rebels were great in that first game they played. They had a bye last week, so we've only seen that one game with the Genia-Cooper combination, and it did look very promising. Maddox on the wing looks really good as well. I've seen him a bit last year as well, but he's looking really good this year. So if you take that into account, and you also think of the Highlanders, they haven't been convincing in the games against the Reds and the Chiefs. I'm saying the Rebels by 2. I'm thinking the Highlanders may pull it off, but let's go with gut feel. I'm thinking Rebels by 2 over the Highlanders. Then the Chiefs versus the Sunwolves. The Chiefs haven't been good this year. I don't know, it's because there's a few players missing or what's going on over there, but they're not playing that well. That being said, the Sunwolves don't have a very good away record. Any games away from Japan, that is. Even if they play in Singapore, they tend not to play that well. But every now and then they have upsets in a season. Last week they were very close against the Waratahs, almost with a drop goal there at the end. But I think this week we'll see the first win for the Chiefs this season. The Chiefs by 12, I think. Then it's the Reds versus the Crusaders. The Reds were really good in their last game last week. They were on a bye in the first week, so we only have that one game as well. They played really good with a young team. But you should remember the Crusaders are always a force to be reckoned with. They tend to have 1 or 2 upsets over them in a season that no one expected, but I don't think this game is that one. So I'm thinking the Crusaders by 7. Then the Lions versus the Bulls, which is always a big one. Both of them had a massive game in the first week. Everyone speculated that they are the contenders this season. And then last week, both of them just didn't do well. So, the Lions are a very good team. They haven't shown us their full force this year so far. But I think they're going to bounce back this week. And the Bulls weren't very good in Argentina. They had only 4 penalties from Pollard, and that's it, nothing else. So I think the Lions are going to beat the Bulls by 5. Then it's the Sharks versus the Stormers. The Sharks are one of 3 undefeated teams at the moment, and the Stormers have been playing really badly. So I think the Sharks are going to beat the Stormers by 9. Then it's the Jaguares versus the Blues in Argentina. The Jaguares have been looking very promising this season. They had a few players in the Dream Team as well, as far in the Dream Team in week 1 and 2. The Blues did start well against the Crusaders in that first game, but last week they didn't look that good. And you should remember the Jaguares are traveling after this game, and then they have a bye before they come back to Argentina. So I'm thinking they really want to have another win at home because they lost one and they won one of those games. So I think they would want another one. So I'm thinking the Jaguares by 14. Okay, it's a very difficult weekend. So I'd back home teams if I could. except for that Crusaders versus Reds game. Okay, that's what I think for the weekend's predictions. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and then maybe if you pick all of those games right, or you pick some of those ones right that no one expected, I'll mention you next week in the review. So that's the predictions. Let's move on to the fantasy teams for the week. Okay, round 3's fantasy team I will base on the Chiefs, Crusaders, and Jaguares if I had to look at teams that are going to perform well this week. So my team is Franks at prop. He's very reliable. He always does his job. He doesn't have a flashy game. He doesn't play excellently in one game, but most of the time he gets a good score. Alan Alaalatoa. He has been scrumming really well this season in the 2 games that's passed, and I think he's going to continue with that. Akker van der Merwe, he's a top scoring hooker in Superbru at the moment, so I think he'll do the same thing again. That can also be said about Barrett. He's also the top scoring lock, so I think he's an obvious choice in there. Then Retallick. He hasn't been playing that good, but I'm expecting him to bounce back sometime, and I think against the Sunwolves that's his chance to have a really good game, because he tends to have a few good games in a season where he scores a couple of tries and assists, and he's just all over the park. Then Frizzell, he's been playing really well and he's been scoring a lot of tries, so I think he'll continue with that form. Then I'm going with Matera. He's overall a good player and he's just been playing really well this season, so I'm thinking he's gonna continue with that against the Blues. I have Vermeulen, who did well. Then it's Kubali. I'm expecting a really good game from him against the Blues. My fly half is Barrett. We all know what his capabilities are. It's his first game back, so I'm expecting him to have a good game because his team hasn't been playing well, and leaders like Barrett usually step up when his team really needs him. My inside center is Orlando. He had a great game last week and I'm expecting him to build up on that. Goodyear, he's an All Black. We know his potential and he can score tries. Bridge, he also loves scoring tries. I don't think there's a game that goes by that he doesn't score a try. Then it's Bonella from the Jaguares. He's been playing really well this season and I think he'll score a couple of tries this week against the Blues. My other outside back is Espie Mare. He's not that good at playing a wing role. He doesn't really score tries that much, but he is what it looks like the Stormers kicker this season, because this week that went past, he was one of 3 kickers in the backline and he was chosen. So if you choose another kicker in your team, or if you want another player to make easy points, he's an easy choice to pick on the wing. Okay, that's all my predictions and my fantasy teams for the week. I hope it goes better this week for me and for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And yes, I'll see you for the review next week.